a pleasant Thursday to you. Welcome to Lone Star Park at Grand Prairie. Absolutely beautiful conditions. Just 71 degrees for the races today. That's almost a 20-degree drop from when we were doing this show in recent weeks. Track is fast. Weather's beautiful. With Rodney Nelson, I'm Jim Byers. Thanks for looking in. We've got 9 races tonight, a couple of trials for the Battle of the Breeds, thoroughbreds and quarter horses. Each year it's different, but this year it looks to me like the thoroughbreds really dominate in those races, but we'll see what you think with your picks. They drew today for the Texas Classic Futurity Trials. There's going to be a dozen of them a week from tomorrow. So originally it was held out that maybe a week from today would be a trials night, but it isn't. Regular racing a week from tonight, but a dozen Texas Classic trials a week from tomorrow, and then a week from Saturday we'll have some Derby trials, but they won't make up the whole card, I'm sure. So
no,
it should be fun.
This is the time of year that it seems like every night we got trials or stakes, pretty much. So it's going to be a lot of fun as we get down to the end here. I mean, we just passed the halfway mark, I think, Saturday.
Last week, yeah.
So we're on the downhill swing now. Closing night, November the 16th. That's when we'll have the Texas Classic races, including the Texas Classic Futurity, the richest race in the state of Texas of any breed. So it's always an exciting one to watch out here. But like you said, 9 races tonight. We ought to get into it.
Yeah. First race has maybe the most obvious pick of the entire meet. AA Burning Ash. The first race is for Arabians. It's WAFPA Stallions Cup race. They offer $5,000 of this purse, 6.5 furlongs. No Lasix allowed here, so there are a few horses, 3 of them, coming off Lasix for this. Scratch the 4. Scratch the 4. Uptown Femme Magique, a first-time starter. AA Burning Ash, 2 good seconds. Just obvious. I mean, just, beyond obvious. And there's no show wagering, so nobody can spend $10,000 to bet this favorite to show.
Well, I know you said one of the most likely picks for the meet, right? I don't know if I agree with that.
I think so, but
for tonight at least, I can
tonight.
Get behind AA Burning Ash. Like you said, 2 starts, both of them second place finishes. If you look at the rest of the field here, AA Burning Ash, I would say stands out amongst the rest of these Arabian races here, Arabian horses. So, we can only talk so much about that horse. Number 6, WMA Magic Slippers. That's my second choice. This horse has had 2 on-the-board finishes out of 4 starts. Ran in a stakes race in between those. The last time out it was a third-place finish, behind some of these other third place finish last time behind a next out winner. If anyone's going to beat the 1, give me the 6, but I think AA Burning Ash has got this first one.
Yeah, anything can happen. They got to run the race, but the others not very accomplished. Double-digit defeats abound, and AA Burning Ash has run 2 nice ones. On to race 2. I'm very chalky in the first few races tonight. 350 yards the distance, maiden claiming 3 to 5-year-olds. $7,500 the price tag here. Scratch the 6, Don't Let Me Down, and the 11, Eye of Patrick. The 12 gets in.
Yeah, I know you said you're chalky here, so you got the 8. I'm going to try to beat this horse. I don't like seeing 3 to 5 on the morning line, especially in a maiden race. I don't like that.
These are not expensive maidens either.
Last time out, this horse got last, right? Dead last in that race. It was a Derby trial. Look at the winner of that one. Relentless Eagle went on to win the Derby,
right.
A co-winner of the Derby.
Shared the win. Yeah.
But still, running last in that trial. Before that, you saw a second by a head up at Fair Meadows. Not bad at all there, right? Came close to winning, but did fail as the favorite. But before that, not a lot of finishes that really get me excited. So I went with number 9. He's a Famous Eagle. The last 2 races, this horse has been up there within a length. Ended up being placed second last time after crossing the finish line third. This horse can fire coming out of the gate. You can look back to those PPs and find that. I like this horse has a second-place finish at this distance. That most recent race was in for $10,000. See a lot of maiden claimings for $10,000. Goes a little bit lower for $7,500 today. I think if you don't like the chalk, take a shot on the 9. You're not going to get a ton of good odds on this one, but still, it's not going to be 3 to 5. I wouldn't.
Right.
Think.
Yeah. I think he's clearly the second choice, but it just depends on how heavily they bet PYC Fury JM. If he is 3 to 5, then 9 to 2 is. Rick Rick Lee, the line maker, rarely misses them. He knows how to balance them off. So, yeah, I mean, he's clearly the second choice, though, odds-wise. But, yeah, I mean, they both had a lot of chances. And in the case of the favorite, she's dropping out of tougher races, but she did test a maiden claiming race on July 5th and still came up ahead short. He's a Famous Eagle, has racked up a lot of in-the-money finishes for a tag. You know, otherwise we've got 4 and 5, 5 and 4 is the pretty obvious third and fourth picks. JTC Mexico Cash is interesting to me because he wasn't betting his debut back in April. JR, the chart caller at Remington, said lacked experience. The horse dropped back and ran dead last. Drops for the return, adds Lasix, draws well. It's interesting. Back to Arabians for race 3. Starter optional claiming, 7/8 of a mile. These are horses that have started for a $10,000 tag this year or last, or they could be in for $10,000.
Yeah, I went with number 4, AA Sweet Victory. To me, it's the horse to beat here. Was a winner last time out, won by 4.5. That was at Retama at 6.5 furlongs. Had another win at 6 furlongs back at Sam Houston. That was 3 races back. Mixed in between was a stakes race for this horse where the horse ran third behind a couple of my favorites, RB Mary Lila and RB Malexis. But that third place finish, that was a turf race at 1 mile, so that's different.
Yeah,
you know, we don't run
is.
turf out here for the Arabians, but did have one back then. This one's going shorter, 7 furlongs, but having 2 wins out of the last 3 races, I do like AA Sweet Victory. Number 7, AA Take a Chance, coming from the outside, is going to be my second choice. Another horse that comes in here off a win. Horse had a pretty good meet at Retama, running 2 seconds, had a win at Sam Houston earlier this year, has finished on the board all 3 times at this 7 furlong distance. And then I got number 3, WMA Grand Finale, as my third choice. Another one coming in off a win, a second place before that, but hasn't been in a race since March, so we'll see if this horse is ready to go tonight.
Yeah, this race, we both have the same horse on top here. She has proven repeatedly that she likes to run fresh. She likes to come back running off layoffs, and that's one of the biggest factors behind why I picked her. Hasn't raced since the 3rd of July, but historically fires well fresh. And even on July 3rd, she was coming off a little mini layoff since the end of March. Likes those races spread apart. Her trainer, Nicole Ruggieri, also has the favorite in the first race, so it could be a really nice night for her barn. And we're the same for second, third, and fourth, once again switched, but very similar here. Both the 2 and the 3 horses in here have a lot of speed, so it's going to be interesting to see how the pace in this 7/8 race shapes up. A number of these do seem to like to be forwardly placed, but AA Sweet Victory does appear to be able to sit a little bit. This year, she's been able to sit a little bit and rally. So I think the tactics shape up for her, too. Okay, now we get up to these Battle of the Breeds claiming trials. As we've seen before, these horses can be purchased out of this race, and they can start for their new connections in the final, which is interesting. Some years we've seen a lot of claims out of these trials because you can claim a horse out of here and then run them back 2 or 3 weeks hence when they run the final. 870 is the distance. Thoroughbreds and quarter horses. The only quarter horses in this race are the 1 and 2. The other 4 are thoroughbreds.
So, talking about claiming a horse out of this, running it back in a couple of weeks for the stakes race. One of our thoroughbred owners did that. Carl Moore Management. He ended up, he claimed one out of the claiming series. I want to say it's 2 years back, maybe 3 now. Claimed one out and then won the stakes race with it. And I was talking to him afterwards, like, how many quarter horses you own? He's like, well, he said, this seemed to be too good of a deal. I can claim this one for $7,500. 2 weeks later, win the stakes for 20, and I won the horse for 2 weeks, made 20 grand.
Yeah.
So he was pretty excited about that horse. But I like this little Battle of the Breeds series. It's a fun one. Some years we've seen the quarter horses do very well. Other years we've seen the thoroughbreds do very well. You were telling me you think this is a thoroughbred heavy couple trials. I went with a quarter horse here in this first race, right? I didn't want to, but I wanted to beat Axel Steel. No doubt, Axel Steele's going to be my second pick. This horse does show some speed, can run great. I think can definitely win this race. But I went with Run Bubba Run, the 2 here, 12-1 on the morning line for this horse. Last time out was the second time that this horse went 870 yards. Won that race at a pretty decent time, too. So it wasn't that bad there. Won that race by 5 lengths. If you look for the very first time this horse went 870, ran second in that one. So the horse has been this distance 2 different times, has a first and a second. That win was the most recent race. Horse is drawn to the inside, so I like that fact, too, that the shortest way to go is around a circle is on the inside. So give me Run Bubba Run at some big odds here in this first trial of the night. I got Axel Steele second, and then my third pick is going to be the number 6, My Little Prince. This is a horse that's been up there close at Arapahoe last couple times out. Horse does have a couple wins out here at Lone Star Park out of 9 tries, but I got it 2-4-6. Let me roll the dice and take that quarter horse here in race number 4.
The benefit for a quarter horse drawn inside like Run Bubba Run is that a lot of times that early quarter horse speed will overhaul the early thoroughbred speed, because let's face it, 870 is shorter than thoroughbreds will almost ever run. They'll run an occasional half-mile race, but that's even 10 yards longer. So fast quarter horses early on will generally outrun fast thoroughbreds. But, Run Bubba Run has that kind of speed that he could easily be the target coming off a really nice romping win against Maiden Claimers. My Little Prince has a lot of speed from the outside as well. Axel Steele has thoroughbred early speed. I don't know if he has the kind of early speed to go early with Run Bubba Run, but I took Axel Steele. I'm really chalky in the early going here. I like the fact that J.R. Caldwell put a fast work in this horse on October 9th. He hasn't been out since March, but he's a veteran. I think he, pretty much knows the game by now. And Caldwell claimed this horse for $15,000 back almost a year ago at Zia. Ran him a couple of times against thoroughbreds at Houston with 1 win, and is going to run him here. And if he gets claimed, then he doesn't, he won't have him anymore. But he probably figures, if I can get my $7,500, then I made my money back and then some on him. On to the 5th. It's our second and final Battle of the Breeds claiming trial. The thoroughbreds in here are everybody but the 2 and 3. The 2 and 3 are both quarter horses. Everybody else a thoroughbred, and I got chalk all over me again here because I picked Play Rule. I don't know. I might have a bad negative rate of return and 6 winners tonight, or I could be horrific. We'll see.
Well, that's why we run the races, right?
You're trying to beat a lot of favorites.
You know what? I just don't like even money. I don't like 3 to 5.
I'm
I tell
generally
people
with you.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. That's the way I look at it out here. I took Blingo, number 4. This is a horse that we've seen out here during the thoroughbred season a whole bunch. This last year, this horse ran 4 different races. Showed some speed in most of those races. So I like that when you look down here at the PPs, I mean, this horse is always up there toward the front, within a head or a neck of the leader or leading the race at those points of call. This horse is running in some pretty big ones, not one other than allowance races. So not bad at all here to drop into these claiming stakes trials. I definitely think this horse has some speed. I like the morning line odds of 6-1 on this one. I was telling Jim, if I had $7,500, I'd claim Blingo tonight. So I guess I need to make some money in the first 4 races in order to do so. But then I took Play Rule as my second choice. I mean, this horse was the winner of this series. Last year? This horse won the claiming, or what was it, the claiming stakes? That was this one, right? Yeah, went back and ran and won this one.
He did.
Pretty much led the trial race and the stakes race. Was up there toward the front all the way around. We saw the most recent race for this horse down at Gillespie at the end of August. Was a solid four furlong race. I mean, won that race by 6.5. So, I mean, it's hard to discount Play Rule, but at 3 to 5, my money is going elsewhere. And I got number 1, British Edge, as my third choice. Another one that was running in some pretty decent allowance races. These coming out west. Horse did have a couple wins last year, but, has been off the track since December of 23. Did put together a couple workouts in October, one on the 5th, one on the 11th. They were both bullets, but not a ton of horses working that morning. So we'll see what happens with British Edge. But I got a 4-6-1 in this second trial.
Yeah, that British Edge is an interesting mare. Was running at Gulfstream and Gulfstream Park West
That's
all
a
the way
long
back in
time ago.
2020. Yeah, I mean, Gulfstream Park West has been a was torn down years ago, and then they took the track out years ago also. So yeah, and then as far as Blingo goes, I would love to have picked him as well. I just worry that maybe he's lost a step. I mean, I know he's been running against Texas-bred first-level allowance horses here, and it has, like you said, showed a lot of speed, which is really all that's important here going 870. I just because Play Rule had run more recently, I lean toward him. But, you're shopping for prices is a good strategy because
unless it doesn't work, then it's bad.
Well,
strategy.
yeah, there is also the saying, better a short price than a long face. But tonight there's just this parade of odds-on favorites, and I couldn't beat all of them, but we'll see how things go. On to the 6th. Start of the late pick 4. Scratch both of the alsos, the 11 and 12 out of race 6. Maiden claiming Texas-bred 2-year-olds at 300 yards.
So I'm on number 4, JJ1 Meteorite here. Last time out at the fairgrounds, this horse caught a sloppy track. Finished 6 of 7 in that one, bumped at the start as well. When you take a look at the races before that, especially back at Delta Downs earlier this year, this horse came close to winning a maiden claiming race at the $20,000 tag, and that one got caught at the end, missed by a head. Before that, was only a length behind the winner. I think JJ1 Meteorite can pick up the W here. I got number 8, Cowboy Range, as my second choice. Last 2 races back-to-back third-place finishes at this $15,000 maiden claiming level. And then I got number 3, Mescatera, as my third choice. This horse did have a pretty good run at Sam Houston at the 300-yard distance. Finished second in that one, missed by a neck. Most recent race was behind by a length in a 5th-place finish. That was out here over our track, but had some troubles, has slipped at the break. So, if this horse keeps the footing, can fire out of that gate, I see no reason why this one can't get up and hit the board.
This one's kind of a scramble for me behind JJ1 Meteorite, and with him, he's drawn well. He's got the leading rider. I'm just hoping the change of scenery helps because he did have some races in Louisiana where he struggled. They did tend to be against higher maiden claiming maidens than these. So he's getting class relief, and he's getting a change of scenery, and he's getting a dry track, which he didn't have last time. So hopefully all that will, result in a nice win. Behind him, though, it's pretty wide open. I mean, Muddy Hertz is adding blinkers, probably needs it. T.S. Neffely is my second pick. This horse was entered and scratched earlier in the meeting. Hasn't started since July and has had issues at the start in 2 of her 3 races, but does have a fast work at Delta last month. May have a little bit of talent. The works look decent. So I went with her for second. But, yeah, there's a lot of options to complement your picks beyond the favorite in that race. On to the 7th. Lots of contention here. 330 yards. These are maiden special weight colts and geldings going 330. Scratch both the 11 and the 12.
I ended up on number 4, a cool-looking lad. So out of this horse's 5 races, 3 of them were really close. Was up within a neck of the winner in 3 of the 5 races. Most recent race this horse was in a maiden race right here at Lone Star Park back on the 12th of September. Ran a good second in that one, just missed by a head. That was going 350, so takes 20 yards off tonight. I think a cool-looking lad could get the job done. Number 7, E.G. Cliff Money, that's my second choice, was within a length last time out in the 5th-place finish. Before that, finished second in a race down at Rotama. And then I got the number 2, Macho Modelo, as my third choice. Horse making his second career start. First one didn't come until 12th of September this year. Always like horses making their second start, so give me this 2 in the top 3.
This is an example of a race where if you put a lot of stock in the E-speed figures, which is roughly like a Beyer fig for quarter horses, they're in your Lone Star Today program in a bold-faced black about the 2/3 of the way across the page to the right. If you go by those, and I only look at them, I don't necessarily go by them because I'm not sure how they're determined, then the 4 and the 2 and the 7 jump off the page because they're all up into the 70s on their E-speed figures. I'm tossing them out here. I'm going with kind of a bomb here. although I don't know if he's going to be 20-1 because of the connections. But favorite Dream, number 9, first-time starter. Clinton Crawford wins a ton of races at Remington and Will Rogers. He's 10% with first-time starters, but this first-time starter is by Favorite Cartel. Fantastic sire. Gets a lot of really quick, precocious runners. And the Dam, Lakeview Dreams, ran here, won a race. We used to have a race named after Cool Q Baby, who was a great champion in the 90s, loved Cool Q Baby, trained by the late K.C. Carden. Lakeview Dreams won that race here back when we ran it, made a bunch of good races like the Texas Classic Derby, and won her first 2 starts. So the Dam was precocious. The sire sends out precocious ones. Kind of a long shot on the morning line. A Randy and Sandy Coleman homebred. Give me favorite Dream. I think these favorites in here are a little vulnerable. I think Believe Me Famous, the 6 for John Steinbow. It's been in impossible spots over in New Mexico in his previous couple of starts. But if he gets a clean trip here, you can get a really nice price on Steinbow and Rivera. And they're going to get their wins. So I'm going with Big Balloons first and second here.
All right, I like it. I like how you threw back to Cool Q Baby.
Remember Cool Q Baby?
Oh, I remember the story.
Awesome.
I mean, big stakes winner. I mean, won a ton of stakes races
Champion,
out here.
Yeah.
But was traded for like 2 pigs and a dog or something like that.
Okay, I forgot that story. Yeah.
Yeah, I think on the way up there, we used to have, on the way to your booth, there used to be a Cool Q Baby picture that had the story underneath.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to read
2 pigs and a dog or something like that.
Well,
the
she
trade.
was a heck
It's
of
a
a
good
running
trade.
racehorse, I'll say that. On to the 8th. Tough call here. 220 the distance. Allowance 2-year-olds. Non-winners of 2. 4 scratches here. Number 4, Frazier. Number 8, Elguero Runaway. And both of the also eligibles.
Yeah, so I'm trying to catch a price in race number 8 on Toby Keaton. Toby Keaton, Luis Vivanco team up for the number 1 horse here, Chasing One.
All of us have him.
All right, we all got this horse?
Rick had him too, so I don't know if we'll get 12-1 if we're all picking him.
All right, well, you let see. It looks like
We'll
you got
see.
the 5
Picking
up there,
her.
so that's why I was going a different way.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Eagles
That's
up.
correct. I got
can't-
Eagles up.
I can't
sorry.
bring myself to picking an Eagles horse. I'm a Cowboys fan.
I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry. Yeah, I do have the 5 Eagles up, not Chasing One.
Chasing One, though, I mean, this horse, 2 races, had a maiden race, had a futurity trial at Ruidoso. This horse broke sharp in both of them. I mean, even looking at the comments, away well last time out, broke sharp before that. In a race that's 220 yards long, that's what I need. I need a horse that's going to break sharp and break fast. This horse has done it 2 times in a row. See if the 3rd time is not a charm for Chasing One. But I think at 220, this horse has showed that speed in the past. This horse could get up at a decent price. Number 2, BV Mr. D. That's my second pick. This horse did pull off a win last time out. That was that maiden breaking win. Did it at 220 yards. Won that race by a length. That's a pretty good margin of victory. And then I got number 9. Like I said, I didn't want Eagles up, but number 9.
By the way, I mean, I understand your fandom, but that's really a cockeyed way to not pick a horse because they have a rival NFL team's name.
Well, you know what? I could make a case for why I don't think this horse is going to win,
fine.
but I would rather you talk about why you think
right.
that he is going to win. But number 9, VF Instantly Famous. This horse has had 4 races. The very first one finished 10 of 10 in that one. All right, let's get rid of that opening day or first race for VF Instantly Famous. Look at the other 3. Was it a maiden claiming at 10? Won that race by a head. Went into a claiming race, non-winners of 2. Ran very well in that one, just missed by half a length. Followed that back up in an allowance race at Gillespie. Missed by 3/4 of a length. So if you count out the debut, this horse has a win in a couple thirds, and both those thirds up there within a length. VF Instantly Famous could get some pretty good odds on this one and see if this horse can't run them all down here in race 8.
I'm on Eagles up here. I just talked about how I don't pay a lot of attention to those E-Speed figures, but Eagles up does blow this field away if you pay attention to E-Speed figures in that department with an 83 last time. I'm mainly picking him because I loved his race here on September 21st. He outbroke the field. He just sailed to a 1.5-length win, which is a good margin here. And he shortens up today, but that's fine because he was so fast and broke so sharp last time, and he's drawn perfectly. Last time was his first time with Jose Sanchez after a different trainer had him in Louisiana. Sanchez obviously improved him a lot, so I'm going to go with him, even though he is kind of a short price. BV Mr. D, I picked him last time at 2-1. He ran well. He was definitely the best in that spot. Coming off a layoff, like Eagles Up did, came off a little bit of a layoff and fired fresh. Chasing One's going to have to come off a layoff here. I have her third. She could very well win. You're not going to get 12-1, I don't think, because A, you have a bunch of scratches out of here, and B, Rick picked her and you picked her, and I used her third, which doesn't mean anything. It just means that, there's going to be a lot of eyes on her, and you have Toby Keaton and Vivanco, and she's broken on top both races, so I don't think you're going to get 12-1 off of her. Maybe you would have in the original lineup, but, we'll see how she fares from the inside. This is a good race. On to the ninth. We've got a $12,948 carryover in the Jackpot Super High 5 in the ninth. Take out the 11 and 12. Maiden special weight fillies and mares, 3 to 5 years of age, 300 yards.
So I've got 3. Flying Pretty Legacy is my top choice here. Was close up last time, missed by half a length. Has had a ton of on-the-board finishes so far this year, 4 out of 6 races, a couple seconds, couple thirds. Does have that one race over our track that's recent. If you look back to the last time this horse was here last September, horse had a third-place finish as well. So not many – this horse doesn't get beat by a lot, I'll say that. But give me number 3, Flying Pretty Legacy on top. Number 5, Relegate PYCYG is going to be my second choice. This horse was really close to picking up the win last time out, battled all the way down the racetrack, missed by a neck in that one, had a third-place finish by 3/4 of a length before that. I like that this horse is going to 300 yards today. I think this horse does show some quickness out of the gate a lot of times. And then I got number 4, An America Eagle, as my third choice. Second start coming back off a layoff. Big morning line. Give me a shot on the 4.
I took the 1, Press to Launch. This favorite cartel filly is a half to Trace Crystals, who just a year or two ago won both the Oklahoma and Heritage Place Futurities up at Remington and was phenomenal for D. Keener. This was a $165,000 yearling. I'm kind of a sucker for those. Her last race in a Rainbow Oaks trial was, she was brushed at the start and ran dead last, well beaten. So far has not really run up to snuff, but has been in really tough and is not in nearly as tough in this spot. Trey Wood, great barn, wins a lot of races, but his horses have not been breaking very sharp. Trey Wood and Juan Diaz, both, 2 of our top trainers, and they're going to end up way up on the standings, but both their horses have been breaking a little bit dull, not across the board, but more than you would think. I'm just hoping Press to Launch can get out of there okay down inside. I mean, her breaks have not been fantastic. I'm going to hope maybe she gets a good start and lives up to that breeding. So I'm going to take her over the 5 and the 7. It's a good race. I think the last 2 or 3 races are pretty competitive. And there's some chances, like you did, to try to beat the favorites. We could be talking about you having a really good night or, at least going down swinging, if not.
That's it. You got to take a shot every now and then.
That's right. All right, that's all from our point for right now. We've got 27 minutes until the first. Track fast. Good luck with your wagers here on this Thursday night.